your test is going to look just like this. The numbers will be different. That's why we're going to let you write down the answers. So we want you to make sure you guys have the proper answers to be able to study from. Okay, starting on number 1. We're going to write 4 decimals that are between 2500ths and 2600ths. One thing that may make this easier for you is if you change that and put the 0 after, because that shows you the numbers I need to be in between, right? So what are 4 numbers I could use? Okay.
0.256.
Okay, that would be what? Asher? Yeah, that's another one. Good. Alright, the same thing.
Yeah.
So is that between the two?
No.
What if I added a 1 after that 0?
Yeah.
Does that work? Good. No need to. Or 257. Any number works, guys. Key is I have to have the 25 first, and then any number after that. Number of numbers after that. I just need to have 4 of them. Next, order the decimals, least to greatest. Critically important that you pay attention to how you are ordering them. Least means I'm starting with which number? Smallest. So if I start by looking at the whole numbers, I can see already I can place the first one, yes? So 7 is 6,500. Now I've got 2208, so I need to look at my 10th place. Which one's going to come first? The one on the left. So 20807. Then 208 and 410. The last ones are both 218, so again, I look at my 10th place, which one's coming first? One on the right. Guys, one thing that really bothers me, did they give you a list of 1 through 5? So should my list be 1 through 5? No. Don't make your own list. If they ask you to order them, order the actual decimals. Okay, determine each sum or difference. Meaning I'm going to do what? Add or subtract. What is my key rule for adding and subtracting?
Line up the decimal place.
Line up the decimal places. So 1 and 9 thousandths, 6 and 965 thousandths. They gave us the same number of decimal places, so it's going to be easy. The handwriting is really important on this, guys. You've got to keep your columns straight. So that gives me 14, 7, 9. My decimal comes straight down. 7. So this one is 7 and 974 thousandths. Our next one, 14 and 800. Subtracting 6 and 4/10. Remember, if I don't have the same number of decimal places, what can I do? What do we call that? No. There's the word for it. What is the word? Nobody remembers the word?
Hold up.
What is the math term for that 0 that I just put on the board?
Placeholder. A 0. It says 0.
Special 0. What do we call it?
Special.
Sometimes there's some advantages. 10 and 0. So remember, I'm subtracting now. 8 minus 0. 0 minus 4. That's the thing that most of you are going to mess up. I need to borrow. I cannot do 4 minus 0. It's not a community property in subtraction. So I have to borrow from the 4. Make it 10 minus 4 becomes a 6. Again, my decimal comes straight down. 3 minus 6. Can't. So again, I borrow. 13 minus 6. So this one is 7 and 6,800. Okay, our product. Please stop the chatter. question, you need to raise your hand. Product. What? Multiply. What is my rule for multiplying? Do I have to line up my decimal point? No. I have your decimal places. Most of the people that get it wrong. And our whole concept here, and once I've done this, I count my decimal places. Do on the first one, on the second. Three. Well, I put my 3 and now I forget about it. Now I just multiply 3 and 1 times 58. That gives me 8, 0, 24, 0, 5, 0, 15, 8, 5, 4, 7, 1. Once I've done the math, now I put my decimal places in. 17 and 450. Please stop all the chat. Recording this for people who study. Our second one, 1 and 2 tenths times 1 and 2 tenths. Matter that my decimals line up. No, I'm still ignoring them. How many decimals do I have? Gives me 4, 0, 2, 1, 4, 4, 1. I put 2 decimals in, so that one is 1 and 4,400. This is one. Saw a lot of struggles on the homework. Guys, this is 2 of your questions. If you understand what the question is asking, this should be the easiest one on the test. Write a different division expression that has the same quotient as each division. So all you're doing is rewriting this. I'll give you a hint. Focus in on your divisor. I want to get rid of any decimals. So here I'm going to move it by 1. Then I do what here? Move it by 1. 71 and 6 tenths divided by 13. Yes, actually. That'd be fine. You could have also done 716 divided by 130. The key is make sure you use the decimal displacement. Now this one, they didn't give me any decimals in my divisor. Remember, if I don't see it, it's at the end of the number. You can write that as 5,053 and 800 divided by 90. The bottom line is they ask you to rewrite it, so you had to do something to it. The key is removing that decimal the same in both numbers. Now we're to the actual work. Calculate each quotient, long division. Now we're actually doing the math. So my first one, remember, my first guy goes in the house, the second guy's the loser, he sits outside. So 138 divided by 24. Well, 24 is going to 1. And 13. 138.
Yeah.
5. 125. Once I get to the end, do not forget, we don't do remainders. The bottom number doesn't become my decimal. I need to add a decimal at 0 and keep going. When I add my decimal and the dividend, make sure you add it in the quotient in the same place. I now have a 0 to bring it down. How many times will 24 go to 130? 5. Five times 24 is not 125. That's 120. So it should be 180, guys. Hold on. That was 120. So now we're at 180. So how many times are we going to go to 180? 7. Going to give us 28. 14, 16, 160. Still not at 0. 120. What does that equal? 5. Minus 120 gives us 0. So our answer is 5 and 7,500. Our next one, 56 and 8 tenths divided by 1 6/10. First thing I have to do is move my decimal. Make sure that my divisor is a whole number. Well, 16 going to 5. It's 56. How many times? 3. Subtract 48. Borrow gives me 8. Bring down the 8. 88. How many times go to 88? 5. That gives me 80. I'm still not at 0, am I? So I add my decimal and my 0. Bring down to 0. How many times go to 80? 5. We just did that one. So my answer here was 35 and 5/10. 15. Well, I did a couple of these, so let's just go through real quick. Again, the whole key, I have to make shapes that I can find the volume of. Evan, why are you in his desk? Sit down, and you should be writing all this down. So I've got two shapes. I've got this cube, this rectangular prism on top and one on the bottom. So for my first one, I need a length, a width, and a height. That 5 4/10 still goes here, right? So I'm going to just multiply those three. 5 times 5 times 5 4/10. 5 times 5 gives me 25. 25 times 5 4/10. I've got one decimal. 28, 10, 0, 25, 10, 12, 0, 5, 3. I need one decimal place, so this one is going to be 135. We're doing volume, that means it's cubic unit. For our second one, it's length times width times height. I have a length of 26, the width is the same. My height is also 5 4/10. So this one is going to be 26 and 3/100 times 5 4/10 times 5 4/10. Oh boy, we get a whole bunch of decimals for this. So I'm going to start with the easy numbers. 5 4/10 times 5 4/10. I've got two decimals, 16, 21, 20, 25, 27. And I need two decimal places. Then I'm going to multiply by 2603. I now have 4 decimal places. Gives me 18, 4, 27, 6, 7, 8. Don't forget your zeros. Because this is a 0 here, I'm just going to go straight to the 26. Actually, I won't because this channel heat. So those are all zeros. Now I go to the next page. 6 times 6, 36. 6 times 1 plus is 9. 6 times 9 is 54. 12 plus 5 is 17. I now need 3 zeros because I'm in thousands. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 plus 1 is 3. 18. 4 plus 1 is 5. Adding up all those spots. 8, 4, 13, 10, 20, 7, 8, 9, 15, and 7. I do all this. I put 4 decimals in. So that becomes 759 and 348 10,000. What am I going to do with those two numbers? I just add them. Again, make sure you add your, put your decimal places in order. The good thing is, there are no decimals in the second one. You know what? I'm tempted to stop now. And if you guys want the answers, I'll finish recording afterwards because apparently you don't care. I'm not going to ask again. So 14, carry the 1, gives me 8, 9. So 8, 9, and that's a 4. So my total volume is 8, 9, 4, and 348 10,000. Do not forget your units, cubic centimeters. Our next one, we have 125 6th graders taking a bus. Each one is 32 passengers. How many buses will they need? How many seats will be empty? So there's two parts to it. I'm just taking 125 dividing by 32. Will 32 go into 1? No, into 12. And then 25. How many times? 3 without going over. That's going to give me 96. If I subtract, that becomes 11. 15 gives me a 9, 2. So at this point, because of the question, do I need to go any further?
Yes.
Why?
No. Yes.
How many buses do I need?
3.
Will 3 get me all the people there?
No.
No. So how many buses do I need? So we need 4 buses. So for part, we need 4 buses. The second part is I have 29 seats I still that are filled, right?
Yeah.
Out of 32 on the bus. So there are 3 remaining. Okay? Now, for those of you who may not see that, Mr. Chan did one that I thought was pretty cool. Okay, well, I know I need 4 buses, so 32 times 4, that gives me 128 seats, right? I have 125 kids. What's 128 minus 125? So you have to start. No, as long as you understand what that means.
Why is it really?
I still need 29 kids left. That's 125 for students. My first 2 buses take 96 kids. That means there's still 29 kids. Buses. 29 of them are full. On your left. Yeah. Here, last one. Calculate. I've got a whole bunch of decimals. Need to add these up. So again, make sure you're putting them with the decimal places in order. Oops, I did that backwards. 785. Then we've got 131, 642, 79 and 4/10. I'm going to put 2 zeros because we're adding. To add, we have to line them up. I'm going to go ahead and add the trailing zeros as I'm going because we're almost out of time. All I'm doing, guys, adding each column. That gives me 10 plus 2 is 12. I've got 15 and 5 is 20. I've got 10 and 11 is 21. My decimal comes straight down. I've got 18, 20, 30. Carry a 3. I've got 10, 23, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 630, and 102. So part A. It will take 630 and 102,000 megabytes of memory. Part 2, I need to estimate out of the 700. So I need a number close to that. So I'm just going to do 700 minus 630. It's going to give me 70. So B, estimate of 70 megabytes. Left. We do the actual math. 700 minus 630 and 102,000, meaning I need to add 3 zeros to the top number. This one, tons of students missed last year. So people saw all those zeros and they just brought down 102. Is that how I do subtraction? No. I'm going to have to go all the way to the 7th, borrow all the way across. I just subtract. Give me 8, 9, 6, 890,000 close to 70.
Yeah.
Close. So she will have 69 and 898,000 megabytes of memory remaining.
But then I say out of 700.
Yep. That's why we subtracted from 700.
When you write out 69.898 out of 700.
You could if you wanted to. But does that answer the question? Yeah. Any questions on your test, guys?
No.
Numbers will be different. The problems will all be the same. As you're taking the test, make sure you're running. The days will take it on Monday. Oh, God. Well, let's say this time, talking is